A huge welcome to you here on the second highest mountain in England and Wales. And I'm hoping to give you some ideas that you can use in your yoga and meditation practice to touch the essence of nature. And in so doing, start to move towards a lifestyle in which you're never alone, in which you can draw energy and inspiration physically, humanly, pranically, and spiritually from the world around you, so you never feel unsupported, and so that you can use that to make a difference for the people that you're with and to make their moments magical. What more is there to do? So in these few short moments, let's explore some typical Drew practices and see how Drew's multi-kosher approach to teaching and experiencing yoga can make a difference for you and help plug you in to the essence of this sea of consciousness, which is so beautifully reflected back to us in the magnificence of nature. So, here we go. First of all, let's be clear. Have you noticed that your consciousness changes when you're in different landscapes? If you're in a cathedral forest, doesn't your mind go quiet, still, stable? If you're by the water of a lake or the ocean in the moonlight, isn't it likely your mind is likely to go serene and beautiful? Even the word serene, am I right that perhaps it shares a similar root to one of the ancient words for the moon? What about if you need inspiration? Maybe you come to the top of a mountain like I do, or by a big beach with a huge swell breaking and foaming and bringing life to you, or standing by a waterfall, or overviewing a vast forest. These are all things we can do. They make sense, don't they? We swim in a sea of consciousness, and the earth itself reflects different places of consciousness in which, if we attend to them, we can benefit immensely in our everyday life. So pretty good so far. So what about some practices and how can we do it? Well, let's start with the mountain posture, since I'm on a mountain. When you're doing the mountain posture, of course, you root your feet down into the earth. Of course, you build a stable structure as you go through the alignment, core stability, posture, presence. What about if you take your awareness a little bit more subtly then? What about if you allow your subtle energy field, your pranic body, to kind of take on the shape of a mountain? Maybe arms slightly out to the sides, a space between body and inside of arm, so that you form a kind of mountain shape. What about if head, neck, ajna are like the peak of that mountain? Now what? Suppose you entertain, how does a mountain feel? There's a thought. Have you ever thought what the emotional landscape of a mountain could be? And what about if you relate to a mountain that is treasured in your memory, you invite its emotional landscape to soften around yours and perhaps even reflect, Vijnanamaya Kosha, on what are the thoughts a mountain has. So steady, so upheld, so reaching for the sky, so ultimately well-founded in the earth. That's kind of a useful thought set, isn't it? That's the kind of thing that might be useful to be able to adopt when you find yourself too much in space, too much in the air, too vata. Every yoga posture has its purpose and its power. What about the tree? Best place to do a tree? In a forest. Second best place? By a tree close by your house. Third best place? Anywhere. That's good, isn't it? Because, again, you do the tree posture, Vrikshasan. Say that word, that Sanskrit presence, which is actually a mantra, which invokes and invites the consciousness of all the great yogis across history into your awareness. It kind of opens the gateways for you to experience Vrikshasan consciousness. And what is that? Well, physically, you've got all the alignments, stability, balance, and all those great things. Pranically, you've got up meets down in heart and stillness in ajna. Very powerful. This is the kind of thing we explore in our more advanced courses, the advanced practitioner course and the meditation teacher training course, and of course in the yoga teacher training course. But whether you've done those kind of approaches with us or whether you're just beginning, Drew, there's always the ability to focus on your body, focus on the space around you and what shape and texture you'd like it to have, and then focus on your emotional landscape and how it changes and how you would like it to be. Maybe go back in your memories to a moment when you were by a great, beautiful tree that inspired and nourished you by its presence. And let that experience well up in your consciousness, possibly while you're doing the tree, or more likely just after you've finished, when you're quiet and still. And if you take your awareness up beyond the emotional layer, into the layer of our knowings, our understandings, our discoveries of life, Vijnanamaya Kosha, how would a tree commune with the rest of the forest? What would its consciousness be as it nourishes and supports and upholds the other trees of its species and the other trees that are co-creators with it in a forest? Science is discovering the communion that happens through the soil in a forest in just this way. What's it like in the field of consciousness? What's it like in your consciousness? Tree puts you in touch with Ajna Center, the part of our consciousness that knows why we've come to this earth, knows our destiny and our direction. It helps you thus reveal that part of your consciousness. This is what nature does for us. If you haven't yet this summer, make sure you get out into nature big time. If you can do a retreat, if you can get out in such a way that you're away from your walls and your house and your boxed in domestic life. Nothing wrong with that, but we tend to take on the shape of the place we're in. So why not get out into a forest, get out by a lake, get out into the sky, and do that for several days if you can. Watch how your mind expands, gains strength, and feels free again. So many possibilities. I'll leave you with, what about a posture like the triangle? Now here's an interesting one. Triangle builds a stable base like a mountain. Spine rotates, twists, extends, or the rotating triangle rotates the spine. When you open yourself as you come out of the triangle, heart is free to open. You can be like a mountain, you can be like the horizon, you can be like the sky, and above all, triangle is a second chakra master posture, sometimes first as well, thus connecting you with the water of life. Have you ever done the triangle by a smooth flowing river or by a lake or the sea? If you have, when you finish the triangle, I invite you to just pause, allow your awareness to enfold around the pelvic girdle, and remember the most amazing moments you've ever had, inspired, serene, beautiful, loving, by a lake, or by water, or by something that makes you feel you're in touch with the lake of consciousness that is the stillness of our real self. And you'll probably find when you do that consistently that not only will you feel good, not only will the water aspect of your life and flow and connectedness with your purpose feel good, but also you'll start to feel better at relating to the world around you. Because second chakra master posture, when opened, gives you access to the divine connection between the part of your mind that knows about relating and the great presence of soul, aliveness, and life in the people and the world around you. There is so much to discover, isn't there? This is just the beginning of what's possible as you walk through the landscape of nature and be nourished by the change in consciousness it offers to you. So I hope you can be with us in all kinds of different ways. Really look forward to seeing you soon and wishing you the very best.